Some years ago, when I was writing the reviews for websites, I had a look at Dr. Roger Greenaway's offering, and I think it's worth visiting now that we're doing this based on a video review. And the reason I'd like to return to Dr. Greenaway's website is that the content and the material is very concentrated in a particular area, and the area is about reviewing. And when I say reviewing, I'm talking about a facilitator or a trainer who is reviewing or debriefing activities, exercises, and looking for ways of which we can extract the learning from the participants' experience. It's a demanding area, it's a difficult area, and people who do it well have a real skill and ability. And so consequently, what I'd like to do is just have a look at some of the key areas that Dr. Greenaway actually looked. Now, if you visit the website, you'll see you're confronted with a number or a mass of links. It's not, I would suggest, the easiest or most immediate website to understand where you go or what you can look at. But for our purposes, the key area we need to look at is down here in the bottom left hand corner. What we've got here are a sort of headings for the different types of reviewing that can take place. So we've got reviewing for all, reviewing for development, reviewing for fun, reviewing for leaders, for peace, for results, for teams. I just want to have a look at a couple of these. So if we start off by looking at reviewing for leaders, so obviously you put your mouse over it and left click, what we get is initially a kind of number of sections, and what we want to do is scroll down, and what we start to get here are sections relating to content and material that you can read and you can access, and it will provide you with tips, ideas, suggestions that you might use for reviewing. So we've got here, for instance, 10 strategies for creating more leadership opportunities, 10 ways of reviewing leadership exercises. Now, I suspect that for many people, trainers and developers, this is one that you may want to have a look at. Feedback using active reviewing cycle, SEQ style effective questions. Again, they're all techniques. Now what you do, there's a précis, a paragraph just introducing what this topic is, and then underneath that there's another link. So again, you would roll your mouse over it and you would left click, and then you're taken to the section, and it shows you and introduces you to the methods, the techniques you might potentially use, in order to use that particular technique. Now, let's go back and just scroll down a bit further. There are some really interesting techniques. Warm seat works best towards the end of a leadership program where everyone has witnessed each other in 2 or 3 different leadership roles. And again, you click on it and it takes you through to the particular section, and it gives you ideas and tips. Now, as you can see, it's a generous site in as much as it's got lots of ideas, lots of techniques, lots of methods, and in that sense it's probably one of the most resource intensive sites I've actually ever visited. Okay, now let's go back again and go back once more. So that was reviewing for leaders. Let's look at reviewing for teams. Again, you left click on that, and then you're taken through to the appropriate section. So let's have a look at one of these headings again. Dynamic debriefing, models of debriefing. Again, if we click that, we're taken through to a briefing section. Now, one of the benefits, I think, of Dr. Greenaway's site is that most of his material is actually referenced. So if you wanted to do some further reading, you've got the references there available to you, and then you can follow them up. And once again, detail, lots of information, more than enough for anybody to get a grasp of some of these techniques. Let's go back and let's have a look at reviewing for results. Now again, some of these methods and some of these techniques are repeated elsewhere, and some are unique. So let's look at this one here, method 13 transfer exercises. 13 transfer exercises. The transfer exercises are, basically ways in which you can start to look at applying your learning back in the workplace. Now, in this particular instance, you're not given that much information. It's a kind of, a sweetener for some particular courses that Dr. Greenaway runs. I've actually attended, I suppose I should declare my interest here, I've actually attended one of these courses. I have no association. You did get a lot of ideas, techniques, and that's, I suspect, is reflective of this website. It was crammed pack full with ideas. So that's Dr. Greenaway's website on active reviewing, methods and techniques you can employ. I've only scratched the surface here. It's definitely a website I would go to, and it's definitely a website worth reviewing and looking at yourself if you're involved in this kind of work.